And 3 years ago, he served as chairman of the assembly that chooses the Nobel Prize winners in medicine.
So now, not just any type of field is going to do that. It's got to be coherent. So we practice creating brain coherence. We actually measure it. We practice creating heart coherence. Why? Because once energy moves right up in here, and you can change resentment or frustration or impatience to joy, to freedom, to gratitude, and we're measuring to see if you're doing it. So now when the heart starts regulating, it starts beating like a drum, and it starts to produce a measurable magnetic field. It's up to 3 meters wide. Now, that energy is a frequency, and that frequency can carry information. That information is your thought, is your intent. In other words, the elevated emotion of gratitude can carry the thought of your health. The emotion of suffering cannot carry the thought of your health. And think positively all you want. If you're feeling miserable, your mind and body are in opposition.
The professor has put on his favorite suit, the doctor's white coat, while our crew is turning his lab into a TV studio. Professor Montagne might have nothing more to lose. He will certainly go down in history for the discovery of HIV. But he probably wants to go down in history for another discovery, related to this iconoclastic but promising theory. Discreetly, he makes progress and he fights his own corner equipped with a new tool called water memory. Hello, we're going to take on a delicate experiment of detecting electromagnetic signals from the DNA. First, I'll ask you to please turn off your mobile phones by removing the batteries because we're going to detect extra sensitive electromagnetic waves and the detection might be disturbed by certain mobile phones. Whether it be about the detection of serious diseases or therapies by wave medicine, a new approach in biology is emerging, based on the information that wave frequencies can carry inside our cells.
Think about it this way. 100 years ago, a little more than that, I can hold something in this hand, and I can hold something in this hand. This is chemicals, I can make a drug out of. This is energy. It's invisible. So, of course, the thought at the time was that the thing that you can hold, you can taste, you can hear, you can smell, you can feel. This is real. This is not real. What's in this hand, but it is. It's just as real as this.
In intensive care, for example, when you're looking for the absence or presence of life on somebody who's ventilated, so you can't use the normal outward clinical signs, we might look at the EEG, the electroencephalogram, or the ECG, the electrocardiogram, and the waves that you see on these, they're electromagnetic waves showing us the intrinsic electromagnetic nature of the body. And put very simply, without it, there is no life. With it, there is signs of life.
All the chemical reactions in our bodies are actually mediated by electric charge. There are chemical messengers involved, but it's an electrical signal that basically goes through the nervous system.
And 3 years ago, he served as chairman of the assembly that chooses the Nobel Prize winners in medicine. Dr. Nordenstrom believes that the body is filled with electric circuits, and that current travels through vessels and tissues just like they were electrical cables. The current can travel long distances through blood vessels or short distances through the walls of the capillaries into and out of surrounding tissues. When Dr. Nordenstrom places electrodes inside and outside the tumors and runs a charge between them, he believes he can manipulate these electrical forces to kill the tumor.
In fact, the understanding of the body electric has a number of interesting parallels with medical systems from the East. For more than 3,000 years, medical systems in the East have been based on the concept of a vital life force that circulates throughout the body. This vital life force is known as Qi in traditional Chinese medicine and Prana in the Indian Ayurvedic medical system. The same vital life force is also known as Ki in Japan and Gi in Korea. Qi is considered the subtle energy that moves the universe. It's found everywhere and is always present, before, during, and after any change. In a similar way, changes in bioelectricity coincide with changes in health status. Therefore, the understanding of the body electric could bridge the gap that currently exists between the different approaches taken in the East and the West.
There are effects occurring in the body which occur at remarkably low fields. The energies involved are lower. This led me to think in terms of subtle effects of the sort that people use Ki and G and the like. So I ask, is it possible that what they're seeing is the same as we are? That question still remains. Subtle effects as connected to the various effects that people see using alternative medicine might somehow be related to what we're talking about.
To date, Western medicine has not accepted the concept of a subtle controlling life force. However, the effects that have now been seen in a wide range of different medical applications should lead to a re-evaluation of this viewpoint. In order to provide the best medical care for patients in the future, surely the medical profession should be willing to take a broader view on all of the possibilities, rather than remaining entrenched in providing pharmaceutical interventions alone.
When I first studied acupuncture, I was a teenager, and I thought, boy, I can go into the hospital and discharge half the patients if I treat them, and unfortunately, I haven't really seen medicine evolve, and it's such a missed opportunity. A system of healthcare that goes beyond managing symptoms with drugs, but actually making people feel good. I mean, making them feel normal, well, healthy, and happy. And we can do all of those things.
The problem we have now is that our medical system and our biological knowledge, they are completely obsolete.
I think of the biochemical paradigm as something which has to be moved aside to something which is more field-driven, more electromagnetic, more connected to the real physics which describes nature.
We're left with this obsolete system that doesn't give us health, doesn't deliver health, because it looks at organisms as machines made of isolated parts, isolatable parts, molecular nuts and bolts, and you define diseases by the molecules involved. So we need a complete overhaul of the biological knowledge system and the medical system together.
So now, not just any type of field is going to do that. It's got to be coherent. So we practice creating brain coherence. We actually measure it. We practice creating heart coherence. Why? Because once energy moves right up in here, and you can change resentment or frustration or impatience to joy, to freedom, to gratitude, and we're measuring to see if you're doing it. So now when the heart starts regulating, it starts beating like a drum, and it starts to produce a measurable magnetic field. It's up to 3 meters wide. Now, that energy is a frequency, and that frequency can carry information. That information is your thought, is your intent. In other words, the elevated emotional gratitude can carry the thought of your health. The emotion of suffering cannot carry the thought of your health. You can think positively all you want. If you're feeling miserable, your mind and body are in opposition.